Iterables and iterators, what are they and why should you be using them in your project? This video's got you covered. Hey, I'm Gemma, and welcome to my channel where we talk about JavaScript one module at a time. And in this video, we're going to level up your JavaScript by learning about iterables and iterators. If this sounds interesting, subscribe to the channel. So what exactly is an iterable? To make something in JavaScript iterable, that thing needs to have an iterator object living on it. We're going to take a closer look at strings to see how iterables and iterators work. So here we have a string called artist with the value Megan Thee Stallion. We want to pull out its iterator object by using the symbol.iterator key and then calling the function that we got from that value. That function is going to return back to us our iterator object. So you might be wondering what this symbol.iterator represents. Well, symbol.iterator is just a symbol that specifies the default iterator for any given object. So now that we have our iterator, let's take a look inside of this object. We have a key value pair of next, and then it returns a function which returns an object. The structure of iterators always follow the iterator protocol. This basically means that there always has to be a function called next that returns an object that has two key value pairs. The first key value pair is done, which is a Boolean value that is true when the iterator has reached the end of the collection and false when still iterating through it. And the second one is value, which is any value that can be returned during each step of the iteration process. Since we expose the iterator object, we can actually manually step through the string calling the next function. Each time we call next, we'll get an object that has the value of the current letter that we're looking at, and then the done status to see if we're actually done looping or if we still have to iterate through. So each time we call next, we'll get the value of the current letter that we're looking at in our iteration, and then a done status to see if we're done iterating through the string or if we're still going through. So now we have a basic understanding of iterators. It's important to understand why they're important. They might seem excessive, especially when common objects like arrays and strings have built-in iterators, but the main benefit of iterators is that a consumer of an iterable is able to treat it like any other sequence or list without knowing how the object is constructed internally. So now that we have a good solid understanding of iterables and iterators, let's try to create our own iterable. So for my iterable, I'll create a function that takes in a number called num, and it will return an iterable object. And when I pass that new object into a for of loop, I want to have the ability to print out each number starting from 0 and ending at num. So I created a function called generateNumbers with the parameter num, and it's returning an object having the special key symbol.iterator. Current is set to 0 to represent that it's at the beginning of our iteration, and end is set to num to represent that it's the last number that we want to iterate to. Now that we have that, let's define our next function. The next function isn't too complicated. All we do is check to see if our current number is less than or equal to our final end number. If it's smaller, that means that we aren't done traversing through our numbers. So we return an object where value is this.current, incremented up by 1, and done is still set to false. But if current is larger than end, then we return an object where value is undefined, and done is set to true. So now that we created generateNumbers, we can create our own iterable object and then pass it into our for of loop. So here I have numbers, which is going to be an iterable that's generated from our function generateNumbers, and I pass in the number 10. So if I pass this into a for of loop and I print out number at each step, we should see 1 through 10 printed out in our console. And here we have our own custom iterable. An important thing to note is that because this is an iterable, we can use spread notation on it to spread it into other iterables or into function calls. So if I wanted to have an array called more numbers, I can use a triple dot notation and then append any more elements into that array. If you want a little bit more explanation about what spread syntax is and learn a little bit more about REST parameters, that was my last video, you can check that out. So iterators might seem kind of wonky or excessive at first, but once you get the hang of them, you can start using them in very interesting and complex situations. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, drop a like and subscribe, and with that, I'll see y'all in the next video.